Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and we've got a project that I wanted to squeeze in. I was waiting on oven shells. A lot of you guys that have ordered ovens, I was waiting on your sheet metal out of the laser cutter, and I had about a 10-day window. And I thought maybe I could cram in a ranch gate at the back of my property. A lot of you guys know I started my fence and I built the threshold and everything, but I was putting off doing my gates. So I'm going to show you everything to take it from a concept to reality, and show you what we did for the gate, and with my embellishments along the way. There's a lot of things that I added as I went along, and that's the freedom you have when you fabricate your own stuff. All right, so let's go check it out. Well, we started out just laying out on the slab. And the trouble with a skewed property is you have to make up for the fall of the property. My gates had about a 1 3/4 inch fall over 14 feet. So building something intentionally out of square is a little tricky. I found that the Fireball magnetic shim spacer blocks really came in handy for putting this stuff together and creating my gaps. And we get a little farther along, going off the concept drawing, and just making the sweeps. We didn't have a 3-roll slip. We just did it by TIG welding up some bandsaw cuts. I bought a Mighty Mule gate opener to open and close the system. Seems pretty straightforward. Shouldn't give us any trouble. Absolutely hate their hardware. A lot of stuff I ended up making myself. Okay, well, we're back from the powder coater, and I thought I'd show you what everything looks like. I'm going to get everything kind of unboxed here, or unbagged. These are the hinges that I actually had to make. I sat online. It was kind of funny. I sat online, and I tried to find a hinge that would suit my purpose. And 3 hours of searching, I said to myself, wow, I could have cut up the material by now. My criteria was, I wanted it built out of 3/16. I wanted a 3/4 inch pin. I wanted a 3-inch pin setback. And I wanted adjustable slotted holes. So, nothing like that actually exists. So I made them myself. And I thought I'd dress them up a little bit. I spray painted them, but I kind of wanted them powder coated to match the gate. So here's the straps for the hinges here. And what you've got is a 1-inch ID DOM tubing. That's 1.25 OD. 3/16 flat bar, and we've got vertical slotted holes on this side, horizontal slotted holes on this side. So we've got two-way adjustability on the gate. It uses UHMW sleeves with a thrust washer kind of built in that slides in there. Okay, and then the pins, if you'll notice, there's a small threaded hole right there for 1032, and then I used a small grub screw with a pointed tip. And then my 3/4 inch pins, what I did, I put a knurl right across the top. So when this set screw comes in, it'll push that knurl down into the bore of the carrier and keep it from rotating. I don't want these pins to rotate, but I did put a small knurl on there so it kind of grabs a hold, and then that grub screw will take care of the rest. So let me get these assembled. I wanted it so it would never take any grease. I want that UHMW sleeve to be dry as a bone. If I put grease fittings on it, I know I will neglect to grease them. All right, so let me get these assembled and I'll show you how they work. Okay, so the hinges are put together. I thought I'd show you what they look like. We've got the UHMW thrust with a sleeve inside. They're nice and tight, just the way I like them. The gate, those big old gates are never going to know the difference. Got a small stainless steel set screw right here that pushes in this knurl into the bore and stops that from any chance of that pin rotating. So I want it to rotate inside the sleeve. And we've got our horizontally slotted holes for horizontal adjustment, and we've got our vertically slotted holes for vertical adjustment. And these are built in left and right configurations. And I got my my pin setback here, and I'll show you what that's all about and why we did a pin setback. We want the gate to swing away from the column. So here, let's cut to another video and we'll see why that's important. Okay, and that's important because, you know, we've got electrical boxes and different things in the way, so we need to get the gate to swing away from the column as it opens. Let's go get these mounted up, and then we'll get a gate hung. Okay, well, we're installed, and just a little loose, you know. There's my horizontal slotted holes. So we're ready to mount gates. We're going to throw some plywood down and you know, just act as a door stop while we can get these holes lined up and put in, and then we can start adjusting gates. But we're using serrated integral washer head bolts, grade 5, so it bites into the hinge and there's never a chance of it slipping from the weight. You know, these have a serration under the head. So that's the type of hardware we're using. We're using threaded inserts into the tubing. The tubing's not just drilled and tapped, it uses an actual thread insert. And they're put together with anti-seize, so a little of that goes a long way. And we'll wipe down after we're all done, wipe up somebody else's mess. And I thought we'd give it one last test right before we send everything out to powder coat and make sure we got all our brackets in place, make sure we got all our holes, all our threaded inserts installed. And we just wanted to do one final functionality test before we send it out to powder coat. Okay, so we got the gates hung on our hinges, and here's some of the embellishments I did right before they went to powder coat. That's just some old rusty ratty tools I put in there. Some of them are classics. There's some classic tools in there, some electrician's tools, an old fence tool, big pair of Wiss tin snips, classic Craftsman. There's a Williams super wrench, a couple box wrenches. So I just threw in some tools to look like some filigree. Bar Z crest up top. And then a lot of people are going to ask me how I did the sweep. That is not bent. I actually did the bandsaw trick and cut a slit every inch, and then folded it up and TIG welded it, and then polished it. And on the other one, you can kind of see, you can see the welds down the side. You can see the crinkle. But you know, if you did use a 3-roll slip, you'd also get a crinkle on it too. So that's the Bar Z gate. Got the openers going. I got an opener right here on my tailgate. And they're slow. One gate leads the other. This system is by Mighty Mule, bought from Northern Tool. They take a good 20 seconds to open. And they got a delay. One's a leader and one's a follower. And that's because of that gate latch. You see those cables hanging down. I still got to wire the gate latch in. That one opens right against the property line. And that one there swings about 100 and probably 110, 120 degrees beyond 90, because that's my approach path when I'm driving in. And my old fence and all that old potato vines are going to come out. But yeah, it's pretty pleased with the gate. Next up is wood. We're going to put we got cedar tongue and groove to go in those panels. Neighbor just drove by and told me I got a sweet gate. That's pretty cool. And we're hitting hard stops down there at the bottom. There goes the other one. And I got it set for soft start. It's a soft open and soft close. I'll walk you around the other side. That's the actual gate latch. It's a solenoid operated latch that only gets powered right before the gate opens. That's why one gate leads and one gate follows. And there's our hinges that we assembled inside the shop. And there's all the electrical boxes and stuff that we had to clear with the pin setback on those hinges. All right. And there's the back side of the tools. Backward Z. San Bernardino Mountains in the background. And the rest of our tools. All right. Okay, we worked for a couple hours, and you can see we got this panel again, this tongue and groove, and it's just put in with tech screws with an angle clip all the way around. So you just kind of work your way around with some clamps, and I use a really big tech screw. That's they're for structural steel, so it drills into this heavy tubing really well. So that's the look of it. You know, I got the 45 going one way on one side and the other way on the other side, and I think the center, I think we're going to run that vertically. But I'm pretty pleased with it so far. It's got a nice look. Back you up a little here, take a look at it. And of course I didn't buy enough wood, you know. Every time you make a cut you end up with a football, one of these. So there's a bunch of those. That's all waste and scrap, and it burned through the best laid plans of mice and men. I didn't have enough to do my center panel, so I got to go get more material, stain it, and get it in. Okay, so we're at the end of this installation. I got my paneling for my center panel. This is cedar with diesel oil sprayed on and then rubbed off. And I hosed everything down just to get all the dust and metal chips and everything out of there so they don't leave rust stains anywhere. So we just finished that. There's the center panel. I went ahead and ran those vertical. Back up, and as you get the whole effect of the thing. And all our gate hardware and everything is concealed from the street. And this type doesn't take the pads that mount down on the ground, which is kind of nice. Those are a pain in the butt with you got to pour 2 concrete pads and do an articulating arm, 2 articulating arms. So this is the whole thing. You know, you've got a bracket here that had to be set back, and it needs to be a certain distance behind the hinge pin. You can see where the hinge pin is there, and we had to get these back here, so it's got a mechanical advantage. and we've got the lock put in. This only gets energized the first like 5 seconds when the gate starts to open. There's a solenoid in there that kicks, retracts the lock, and then it's a slam type latch, so it'll close without any power to it. Yeah, we got rangers up in the canyon. Got a helo flying straight overhead. We got hikers up in that canyon get lost or get hurt and have to be heloed out. Very common around here. Anyways, gate done. All that's left to do now is do all the panels in between the rest of my fence. My fence has been painted. I got a coat of paint on it all the way down, but I got to get some screen panels in there and get something growing. I'm thinking I'm liking star jasmine. I like the way it smells, and I like the way it behaves. Oh yeah, for visitors, I can give them a code, a temporary code, and they can just come up and let themselves in. So I did get the keypad. So far I'm pretty impressed with the Mighty Mule system. This has been pretty good. It opens nice, it closes nice, and you'll hear it when I activate it. You'll hear a click, and that's that latch in the center disengaging. You see one door leads the other. And now my neighbors don't have to look at my shop and everything I'm doing down there. Help block some of the sound, and don't have to see me out there working all the time. Okay, that's the gates at Bar Z. Thanks for watching.